Tonight on CTV News at 6, the Premier wants an apology from Jasper. Reaction to a report critical of the provincial response to last summer's devastating wildfire.
So whatever it is that they are trying to do to deflect blame, I'm not impressed with it, and I would ask for an apology.
An Edmonton teenager killed by a fake Xanax pill.
Even if you don't think that your child is capable of taking those pills, they're out there, they're being exposed.
And learning to live with an increasingly common environmental hazard in Alberta lakes.
It smelled like stinkier than throw up even.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Alberta's Premier is demanding an apology and retraction for an independent report about the response to the Jasper wildfire. The report is coming out nearly a year after the fire destroyed a third of the town. It states jurisdictional overlap with the province took away the focus of incident commanders. CTV's Nicole Weisberg reports.
Did the province make the situation worse in Jasper?
We absolutely did not.
Alberta's Premier is on the defensive following an after-action report about the Jasper wildfire.
I'm very disappointed that this report politicizes what actually should be a very successful example of unified command.
The 57-page report commissioned by the town of Jasper and authored by 2 consulting firms said the overall response to the fire was a success and noted remarkable strengths in several areas. It also made recommendations for improvement and pointed out gaps. One section states jurisdictional overlap with the province created political challenges that disrupted the focus of incident commanders, leading to time spent managing inquiries and issues instead of directing the wildfire response and re-entry.
It is important to understand that this was a federal fire. It took place in a federal park, and it was a Federal Parks Canada response. So whatever it is that they are trying to do to deflect blame, I'm not impressed with it, and I would ask for an apology.
The municipality declined an interview but said the review was independently authored and involved more than 320 participants from multiple agencies.
I thought it was a well-rounded, well-conducted after-action review.
Wildfire scientist Mike Flanagan has read many of these kinds of reports, which he says are common after major disasters.
And these are necessary because, we want to learn from this catastrophic fire. It's normal for interested parties like the province to want information, but to the point where it was a distraction, suggests there wasn't enough resources and communication could be better.
The municipality of Jasper did not say whether it would apologize to the Premier. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
RCMP are putting out an urgent warning about fake Xanax pills after the recent death of a teenager in Edmonton. Officers believe a 16-year-old died of an overdose after taking pills which look like the anti-anxiety medication. The fake Xanax contains a potent opioid called isotoniazine. They're gray and rectangular with an Onax imprint on one side and a number 2 on the other.
And even if you don't think that your child is capable of taking those pills, they're out there, they're being exposed. Our children are being exposed to these type of things, whether you like it or not. It's important that we just speak to them, educate them anyways, whether they're going to protect themselves or potentially a friend.
Edmonton police put out a warning about the same pills earlier this week. Edmonton police have mapped out the last known movements of a missing woman and her vehicle. As Merrick Takash reports, it's an investigation spanning from Saskatchewan to Nanaimo.
Let us family have closure in this. Come forward with answers for us.
Family members of Natanis Merasty breaking down during a press conference, making a plea for information on where she is.
We want her home. She is loved. She did not deserve this. Family who dearly misses her want her home.
The last reported sighting of Merasty came on May 5th at the Continental Inn on Stony Plain Road. She was seen driving away in her black Hyundai Tucson just after 2:30 in the morning. 20 minutes later, she was captured on CCTV at the 7-Eleven on 156th Street and 107th Avenue.
These are the last clear images we have.
that we're able to share with Natanis Merasty.
Police say her vehicle traveled from Edmonton past Buck Lake, Nordegg, and Lake Louise. The next day, May 6th, the vehicle drove through BC, boarding a ferry bound for Nanaimo. 3 days later, May 10th, the vehicle was seen back in the Edmonton area, then Lloydminster on May 12th. On May 15th, Merasty's Tucson was found repainted on James Smith Cree Nation in Saskatchewan.
We have to acknowledge that her last sighting was here in Edmonton. So, hence, this investigation is from here, and we're pursuing every lead we can on it.
Police have not identified suspects.
We've spoken to a number of individuals, and we have a number of people of interest.
After 2 months of searching, her family says they're not giving up.
We have a lot of hope that she's still alive.
Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Alberta has an additional 31 confirmed cases of measles, bringing the province past the 1,400 case mark. One of those cases is in Edmonton. The northern part of the province recorded the most new cases at 18. Calgary has 6. The south recorded 5. The south zone still has the most confirmed measles cases in the province at 822. The province is making changes to its Alberta Next online survey. The surveys were launched 3 weeks ago to gather opinion on Alberta distancing itself from the federal government. The questions cover topics including a provincial pension plan, police force, and tax collection agency. Some Albertans criticized the survey because there wasn't an option to disagree with certain concepts. The Premier's spokesperson says panelists had heard feedback from various people during this week's town halls that they wanted a none-of-the-above option to select. The province says the results of the altered survey will be separated from the original survey results. So far, 32,000 people have filled out the survey. A group of Edmontonians trying to save the old Ram are celebrating the province's decision to reconsider its future.
We fought for this since 2015, so it's wonderful news. It's made my day, my month, my year.
The province is now accepting proposals for ways to repurpose the site of the former Royal Alberta Museum. Last year, the government said it planned to turn it into a park. It said upkeep of the vacant building was too high and renovations would be too expensive. After public backlash and an online survey, it's changing course. Members of Save the Old Ram Task Force are pleased with how the province plans to move forward.
Going the RFP route, it's a fair process, and that it then will elicit a whole range of uses, some of which can be combined, so that it becomes a multi-use cultural and heritage space, education, and primarily educational, because we need to educate Albertans and Canadians about our rich heritage, going back to the Indigenous past to the multicultural present.
Proposals can be submitted through the Alberta Purchasing Connection until September 26th. The province is putting $2.8 billion into Alberta's Heritage Savings Fund, bringing the balance to a record $30 billion. The Premier spoke today alongside the Finance Minister and the Chair of the Crown Corporation that manages the fund. Funding is part of the government's plans to grow savings and eventually wean Alberta off the resource revenue roller coaster. Once it hits its $250 billion goal, the Premier says interest would be used to cover fluctuations in oil and gas prices, to invest in infrastructure, and to keep taxes down. A group that targeted Pierre Poilievre's Ottawa riding in the last federal election is at it again. The longest ballot group ran dozens of candidates in Poilievre's Carleton riding during the April election. The Conservative leader lost his seat to Liberal Bruce Fanjoy. Now, Poilievre is running in Battle River Crowfoot after the Conservative MP stepped down to allow for a by-election. As of today, more than 100 candidates are registered in the riding. The majority are with the longest ballot group. A spokesperson says they're getting lots of complaints, which proves the point they're trying to make.
They're saying, like, well, why can't Elections Canada fix fix this. And the longest ballot people, we agree. Why can't a third party that's independent from the government fix, anything or change election laws? But the problem is that it's the winners that dictate how the election laws are done. The members of parliament, they're the ones that have to decide it. And then in turn, is it going to happen? Probably not until it starts to affect them a little bit. And so it's putting that little pressure on.
The group wants to register at least 200 candidates. The by-election is scheduled for August 18th. Municipalities surrounding Pigeon Lake are working together to minimize algae growth. As it becomes a more common occurrence in the summer, visitors and homeowners are learning to live with it. Nav Sanga reports.
Green filament coats the water near a boat launch in Pigeon Lake.
Smelled like stinkier than throw up even.
That smell comes from decomposing blue-green algae, a common and potentially dangerous phenomenon.
And we just learned to live with it. Everybody out here knows about it, and we all follow Alberta Health Services guidelines.
Summer Village of Sundance Beach Mayor Brian Waterhouse says the algae usually pops up around mid-July and is gone by the end of September. He says it covers a very tiny portion of the lake. AHS says to avoid all contact with the algae. Touching it can result in mild symptoms for adults. Those symptoms are more pronounced in kids and can be deadly for pets. People enjoying the lake are not too worried.
If you're walking in the water, that sort of thing, just rinse off after. So not terribly concerned.
As long as you're aware of it and you know what's going on, it's fine.
Use common sense. If there's an algae bloom, don't go in the water. If there's not, enjoy it.
Summer Village of Grandview Mayor Don Davidson says the water levels at Pigeon Lake are lower than normal this year.
Over the last couple of years here, there's been a drought, and when we don't get precipitation, unfortunately, the lake level goes down.
Davidson believes climate change is playing a role. He says hotter temperatures are making the lake warmer.
If you get increased temperatures, you get increased evaporation.
With the lower water levels, the lake has a higher concentration of phosphorus, one of the main food sources for blue-green algae. The 12 municipalities surrounding the lake are trying to minimize phosphorus exposure by banning the use of fertilizer.
So we're working towards that and trying to help the lake as best we can that way.
The blue-green algae advisory will remain in effect for Pigeon Lake until further notice. Nav Sanga, CTV News, Edmonton.
The province is encouraging people to get out and enjoy provincial parks. Tomorrow is Parks Day. Since 1990, Parks Day has been celebrated on the third Saturday in July to highlight the benefits of natural spaces across Canada. This year marks the 95th anniversary of the provincial park system. You can find a list of tomorrow's events at albertaparks.ca. And the list of events in Edmonton this weekend is truly lengthy. Josh is at one of them, the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival at Kinsman Park. Josh.
Yeah, and I'm joined by some guests. We got Rudy, but we don't want to talk to Rudy, really.
What's wrong, Josh? You a little worried about your forecast this weekend?
No. The forecast will be just fine. Park Ranger Donovan here as well, who will be wandering the grounds. Wait, what exactly is your duty down here?
You said duty, Josh. Rudy, stop it. I'm the park ranger. I make sure everybody has a good time, well-fed, lubricated, and ready for comedy.
Okay, so speaking of the comedy, huge lineup this year.
Oh, my gosh. It's everybody you could think of and a friend. All the way, Tony Hinchcliffe and the Killers That Kill Tony, Martin Short, John Mulaney, Fortune Feimster, the Trailer Park Boys. There's a little bit, Anthony Jeselnik. My head exploded.
Rudy, who are you most looking forward to seeing?
You, Josh, right after this hit. I go through your trash in St. Albert all the time.
Rudy the Raccoon. Okay, so weather's going to be okay. I mean, even if there are some showers, that's not going to scare anybody off. Is it, Rudy? Stop giving me the side eye, Rudy.
No, absolutely not. We're Albertans. We're hardy. Get used to it. Wear a jacket, for goodness sake. Come on out here. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about the forecast in a second. If people want to see if they could still get tickets, how do they do that?
GreatOutdoorsComedyFestival.com. Wildly hilarious.
And plan a ride to get down here. Rudy tells me there is no parking.
No parking whatsoever. No parking whatsoever. Yeah, Josh, he doesn't know how this works.
You're right. I know. Sean told me beforehand, too. He's like, make sure you Mike Donovan, the puppet, isn't actually talking. Sorry, Rudy. All right, let's do a little bit of forecasting. Now I'm miking Rudy while I'm trying to talk. thrown. I'm thrown.
It shows up there.
I'm thrown.
It shows up there.
24 downtown Edmonton right now. 21 to 23 for areas outside the city. You can see it is still a little breezy out there. That'll continue through early this evening and then taper off overnight tonight before it comes back tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms in through the foothills. Those will all avoid us for tonight, but we do have some rain coming in for tomorrow morning. As of right now, west of Calgary. Of those thunderstorms. There's your forecast for the next 24 hours. Rudy loves the look of this. 14 degrees and some rain tomorrow morning, but then it tapers off to hit and miss showers, Rudy, for tomorrow afternoon. About 18 or 19 degrees. It's a good thing you're covered in fur. It'll be a little chilly.
Yeah, absolutely. You're the biggest drip around here, Josh.
Park Ranger Donovan, thank you. Rudy, not so much. Back with your 5 and 10-day forecast from the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, a call for help.
You take a big swing and sometimes audiences don't show up and you take a loss.
A local theater that lowers barriers for artists is asking for the community's support. Plus, Kitties is kicking off the next 10 days at Klondike Park. Another arts organization in Edmonton is facing financial trouble. The Grindstone Theatre provides an affordable space for local artists. In order to keep doing it, it needs help from the public. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
It's hard to ask for help and say, we're not doing well.
But it's the current reality for the Grindstone Theatre.
We provide subsidized space here at the theatre so that artists can put on their shows. And I guess for a long time, we've just been eating that subsidy.
Usually, the theatre is able to make up the difference through some of its main stage productions or events like its comedy festival.
But this past season, we just did quite a few shows that lost money, and you take a big swing and sometimes audiences don't show up and you take a loss.
The Grindstone operates this location in Old Strathcona, the Orange Hub Theatre, and runs classes and summer camps. Through 90 different local producers, 360 shows are featured on Grindstone stages each year. Daniel Barker Tremblay has performed at Grindstone and says he can't imagine what he'd do without it.
And I shed a few tears because it means that means that much to me.
6 staff have been laid off and programming scaled back.
We're still in a danger zone, but we're not going to close our doors.
Martin says as they work to restructure and become sustainable, they will need help. They've launched a fundraising campaign with the hope people will consider becoming monthly donors.
So much of what we rely on is ticket sales, and we understand too that people get busy and go, oh, I wish I could have seen that. I love what you guys are doing. I wish I could have seen it. And we just want to create the opportunity for people to support us even when they can't make it.
The initial fundraising target is $40,000 to cover expenses by the end of August. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Thousands of visitors are getting the first crack at K-Days. It is day 1 of the event, and for the next 10 days, rides, games, music, and food will fill the Edmonton Expo Centre. This morning, early birds enjoyed the Premier's annual pancake breakfast and a Royal Canadian Air Force flyby. Danielle Smith says K-Days is a great way to spend a summer day in our city.
We showed the world that Edmonton really knows how to throw a party. Whether you are a longtime resident, newly arrived, or just visiting, K-Days offers something for everyone and is one of the best ways to experience Edmonton's unique character.
K-Days is the 4th largest fair in Canada. Gates open at 11 a.m. and close at 11 p.m. Young water skiers are in Edmonton this weekend for an international competition.
Some of the top skiers in the world have considered it to be the best place they ever skied, so it's really exciting.
Sports rising stars will compete in 3 different water skiing events: slalom, trick, and jump. The athletes are from all over the world, including Germany, the U.S., Australia, and Austria. One competitor says opportunities like this help him improve.
It's good for you because you can learn off others and you can look up to others, right? It just really helps with your skiing.
The event runs until Sunday. It's free to watch. Anyone can attend. Divers are making a splash at the Kinsman Sports Centre. Day 2 of the Speedo Junior Elite National Championships. Divers competing this weekend earned their spot based on results from previous qualification meets.
This is like key for our sport. We want to really have the exposure, let people see how wonderful and how fun it is to do.
All divers are between the ages of 14 and 18. Still ahead, taking a swing at a new sport.
We're going to swing back, and I want you to feel like you bend your wrist like that.
Young girls get a lesson in the basics of golf. Plus,
rock art is an example of Indigenous storytelling that contains information for hundreds, potentially thousands of years.
A new book highlights Indigenous rock art in Alberta.
Lots going on in the city this weekend, including the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. So, will the weather cooperate? We know there's some precipitation in the forecast, but how heavy? We'll have that answer after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Dozens of young girls learning how to play golf are having a ball. The 2-day camp aims to get girls on the green, and it starts by getting a club in their hand at an early age. CTV's Natanis tees up this story.
We're going to swing back, and I want you to feel like you bend your wrist like that.
A hands-on lesson on how to swing a golf club.
There it is.
This is the Come Out and Play Junior Girls Camp. For 2 days, 40 girls between the ages of 9 and 14 learn the basics of the sport. Some have played before.
I play with my dad, and when I was younger, he would just hold my hands and we would just go like that.
Others are picking up a club for the first time.
I'm not hitting the ball every single time.
But that's okay.
Yeah, that's a part of golf.
The goal is to give them the confidence to keep swinging.
In the middle of the hole.
It gives me great joy to see the smiles on the faces and the faces light up after they hit a good shot.
Paul Horton has been coaching for more than 40 years.
There's an increase of girls playing golf, and we're just trying to make it fun so that it's more accessible to the kids. It's meeting new friends and learning how fun golf can be, and then hopefully it grows and they can start playing with mom and dad.
The free camp is put on by Golf Town in conjunction with the city of Edmonton. The girls also get their own set of clubs free of charge.
You don't have to worry about being judged. You can just do it, and there's people here to help you. Like, easier as you keep on going and learning how to do it.
After a lesson at the driving range, it was time to learn how to chip.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, you got one.
The CTV camera posing as a hazard on the green.
You hit my camera.
Yeah.
The camp is teeing up a good time for the girls, giving them the skills to hit the links this summer. Natanis, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, back out to Kinsman and the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. Josh, so much going on in the city this weekend, including some rain.
Yeah, and I think the steadiest of it, most people will be happy to hear this. I think the steadiest, heaviest rain probably is done by midday tomorrow or early afternoon. It's the first half of the day tomorrow that looks the wettest through this weekend. We'll show you that with Futurecast in a moment. First, take a look outside with the Action Furnace River Valley Sky Cam. Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. Clouds have been increasing through this afternoon. Temperatures at 24 degrees right now after hitting 26 for a daytime high earlier today. Look at the north, though. 30 in high level, 28 in Fort McMurray. That'll be the hottest part of the province again tomorrow, whereas the southern half of the province will be considerably cooler and dealing with some precipitation. Air quality warning in effect across the northeast, so it's hot and smoky in Fort McMurray. The air quality is brutal and will continue to be horrendous through the rest of this weekend in northeastern Alberta. We may actually see a little bit of that smoke drift back towards the Edmonton area from the northeast on Sunday. I don't think it'll be a factor tomorrow, but late Sunday we might see a little bit of that move in. At the other end of the province, on the western side, we've got some showers and thunderstorms, and some severe thunderstorm watches, and even a few warnings in effect around Grand Prairie. You've got some storms that are bubbling up, and then further south through the foothills, just off to the northwest, Calgary, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for that area in red. You notice Edmonton Edmonton's not included in any of those advisories, and I don't think we will be at all tonight because the showers and thunderstorms kind of avoid the Edmonton area for the rest of at least the early to late evening hours. Once you get past midnight, then we start to see a chance of some showers moving in. Right around midnight between Red Deer and Calgary, could see some really powerful thunderstorms, and off to the west of the Edmonton area, still some storms lurking through the overnight period. Watch the rain kind of move back from east to west through the course of the day tomorrow, right around the Edmonton area. So there will be some precipitation in the area pretty much all day tomorrow. But again, it really looks like most of this is going to be through the first half of the day, and then it's a little more like passing occasional showers through the afternoon and evening hours. Sunday, heaviest rain will be off to the west, and then in northwestern Alberta through the late afternoon hours. You get some thunderstorms possible late Sunday across the north. Here in Edmonton, I think there's a better chance that we get some precipitation than none on Sunday, but it really doesn't look like it'll amount to all that much and should be pretty scattered in nature. 24 degrees in Edmonton right now, still 27 in Fort McMurray, still 30 in high level. Red Deer sitting at 19 degrees. Jasper's at 15. We'll get to about 19 degrees by midnight tonight, and after midnight into tomorrow morning, that's our best chance for seeing some periods of rain. Could see maybe as much as 10 to 20 millimeters worth of rain by the end of the day tomorrow. That backs off to a chance of hit and miss showers, but it does stay cool, cloudy, and gusty through the afternoon. 19 for a high tomorrow with wind gusts about 30 or 40 kilometers per hour. Still in that 18 to 20 degree range Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Chance of showers, as we said, Sunday it's going to be hit and miss. Otherwise, just cloudy for most of the day. 20 on Monday and 18 Tuesday with a chance of some rain Tuesday. Temperatures do start to rebound, it looks like, by the middle to the end of next week as we get back into the mid-20s. But it's not the worst weekend forecast. It is going to be a little cool and cloudy, though. And yes, wet as well. So if you have plans to be at any of the outdoor events that are going on this weekend, a poncho is probably not a bad idea, and maybe an umbrella as well. Just have it handy for you as those showers occasionally pass through late in the day tomorrow and late Sunday. Jeff?
All right. Thank you, Josh. Thousands of years ago, Indigenous people used pictographs and petroglyphs to communicate. A Calgary archaeologist has spent the last 15 years studying sites all over southern Alberta and BC. He's had the help of elders to decipher the rock art and has published his findings for future generations. CTV's Kevin Fleming reports.
This is one of more than 3,000 sites in southern Alberta and southeastern BC where you can find rock art. Brad Highmore says this pictograph told Indigenous people how to get somewhere and how long it would take them.
And I was always interested in Indigenous storytelling. And rock art is an example of Indigenous storytelling that contains information for hundreds, potentially thousands of years.
Highmore had help from Indigenous elders to understand the cultural meaning and significance behind the rock art.
There's 200 Indigenous languages in Canada. There's probably 200 Indigenous traditions about who can make a rock art site and what the protocol was and what the sites mean. And so we found there's just an incredible diversity among Indigenous people in terms of their storytelling.
Gary Otelar spent his career at the University of Calgary in the Department of Anthropology and Archaeology. He says it's essential to have the help of elders to understand Indigenous ways.
What I find very important is that it's not only the rock art, it is all of the remains that were left behind by the occupants in this area. But they all must be looked at together, and not from a Western perspective, but actually from an Indigenous perspective.
Highmore's book is called Forgotten Dreams, a new look at ancient rock art sites. He says the elders he worked with were excited to pass their knowledge to future generations.
We hope to promote mutual respect and collaboration, not just between archaeologists and First Nations, but hopefully it'll be educational, and youth will see that as an example to do more research on their own into Indigenous cultural history.
Many of the sites are open to the public, and Highmore hopes people will visit them, but also be respectful and leave them as you found them. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Okotoks.
Still ahead, new wildfire consortium.
It will connect domestic, international governments, the private sector, wildfire scientists.
How the federal government plans to combat wildfires as firefighters brace for more flames in August. Also ahead.
He said it's patently absurd. He's never drawn such a picture.
Tracks in Megaland, Donald Trump's frustration with the Epstein case that won't go away.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Federated Co-ops. Find your summer sweepstakes. Unlock your chances to win at your local co-op.
Between destroyed communities, smoky air, and lengthy evacuations, it has been a devastating and deadly wildfire season. Now, Ottawa is warning of a high risk of more wildfires come August. CTV's Michael Couture has more on the update and the forecast for the rest of the year.
We're at the halfway point of the year, and while Canada isn't on track to break a record for wildfires, it could be the second worst year in the last decade. There are 561 wildfires burning across Canada right now, and conditions for the rest of the summer will be ripe for more. Still, federal officials say they're ready to protect communities.
Whether that's water bombers, whether that's a requirement for the Canadian Armed Forces to do an evacuation, whether that's helping with supplying things like fire hoses, whether that's it can be a broad assortment of matters that we're concerned with.
Officials say so far this year, wildfires have burned 5.5 million hectares of land. That's more than double the average over the last decade. To give you an idea of the scope, that's nearly 8 times the size of the Greater Toronto Area. Today, the federal government announced a $12 million investment over 4 years to establish the Wildfire Resilience Consortium of Canada.
It will connect domestic, international governments, the private sector, wildfire scientists and experts, and affected communities to share knowledge, science, and technology so we can fight fires better.
But it's not a national disaster agency, which was first considered 2 years ago during the record-setting wildfire season of 2023. And environmental researchers say prevention is also key.
There's absolutely a role to be played for different forms of forest management, including control burns, including various types of timber harvesting and things like that, that can be done to reduce the amount of fuel that's on the landscape.
But Kaplan is adamant. He says the big fires we're seeing now are being driven by climate change. And he adds the best way to mitigate the fires is to get a handle on greenhouse gas emissions. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. President Donald Trump is strongly pushing back on a Wall Street Journal article. The article says he wrote a letter to Jeffrey Epstein more than 2 decades ago that reportedly included a drawing of a woman and his signature. Now the president is directing the Attorney General to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony related to Epstein. NBC's Monica Alba has the latest.
It's all been a big hoax.
After days of downplaying the Epstein files controversy, President Trump overnight directing his attorney general to release all the pertinent grand jury testimony once the court approves. And late Friday, Attorney General Pam Bondi filed a motion to unseal grand jury transcripts associated with Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend. She and Epstein were both convicted of sex crimes. All this in the wake of a new Wall Street Journal story about a letter the president allegedly sent to Epstein on his birthday in 2003. The Journal calls the letter bawdy, describing several lines of text framed by what appears to be a hand-drawn outline of a naked woman with the president's signature under the waist, according to documents reviewed by the Journal and people familiar with the pages. The Journal reporting they are among documents reviewed by justice officials who investigated Epstein years ago. But it's not clear if these are part of the Trump administration's most recent review. NBC News has not independently verified nor seen the documents. President Trump adamantly denies writing the letter, telling the paper, "This is not me, this is a fake thing, it's a fake Wall Street Journal story." House Speaker Mike Johnson said the president is frustrated.
The president and I talked about that ridiculous allegation this morning. He said it's patently absurd. He's never drawn such a picture.
President Trump has tried to appease his base, angry that he won't release all the Epstein documents.
This has been the first fracture in MAGA.
For years, right-wing media and influencers have pushed conspiracy theories about an Epstein client list and that he did not kill himself, that someone potentially murdered him in jail in 2019. When Bondi released a memo this month contradicting those theories, MAGA world erupted, demanding full transparency and every document made public.
Today, President Trump filed a libel lawsuit against Dow Jones, Rupert Murdoch, and 2 Wall Street Journal reporters, according to Pacer, a public electronic records site. The president says the report is malicious and defamatory. In Washington, Monica Alba, NBC News.
Change is coming to late-night television. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is coming to an end.
The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And yeah, I share your feelings.
Colbert has been the host since 2015 when he took over from David Letterman. The move to cancel the show comes days after Colbert criticized Paramount, which owns CBS, for settling a lawsuit with Donald Trump. The network says the cancellation was a purely financial decision. Coming up next, premium increases in the prairies.
Why would an insurance company insure you for fire insurance in northern Saskatchewan now?
How wildfires may affect future home insurance coverage.
If you look around the village, you'll see a lot of rock, a lot of points that are exposed.
And while Albertans summering in Ghost Lake are at odds with a hydro plant operator. Taking a look at the markets, the Canadian dollar closed today at 72 cents to the American dollar. Oil gained 78 cents, closing at $67, 1 cent U.S. a barrel. Gold ended the day nearly $15 higher. The TSX and Dow Jones were both down, losing 78 points and 149 points, respectively. As wildfires continue to burn across the country, those who've already lost their homes to flames are faced with another challenge: insurance claims. And even once they get through the claim, many worry there will be trouble when they go to insure any rebuilds. CTV's Allison Bamford explains.
All those sheets of metal was our roofing.
Flynn Scott lost his Denair Beach home in a wildfire last month. He's now sifting through 20 years of memories.
There it is right there.
Room by room, listing every item that was inside for the insurance claim.
It could be daunting for anyone.
He'll likely forget to add some things, but his biggest concern is finding an insurer when he goes to rebuild.
Why would an insurance company insure you for fire insurance in northern Saskatchewan now?
Brokers say it's too soon to tell how this year's wildfires will impact future coverage, but already there are challenges the further north you go.
North of the 55th parallel, there's only a select few insurers that will insure that cabin.
Insurance premiums are based on trends, and prices have been rising due to increased risk related to natural disasters and increased costs to rebuild a home. Nationally, home insurance premiums are up 4.8% year over year. The biggest increases happening in the prairies.
Alberta is unfortunately and currently the riskiest place to insure in the country, and that's just the result of the floods, the hailstorms, and the wildfires.
Last year was one of the worst years on record, with billions of dollars in insured losses recorded across the country. But experts say so far this year isn't trending in that direction, and although premiums are rising, they aren't going up as fast as they have in recent years.
Albertans spending the summer at the village of Ghost Lake say poor reservoir management is ruining their seasonal getaway. The Ghost Reservoir is well below its yearly average water level. It's a decision made by TransAlta as it manages the hydro plant. The choice has left property owners downstream with limited water to swim or boat in. Some say their docks are ruined. Others have hit gravel bars and damaged their boats. They're confused because Alberta's seasonal rainfall and runoff amounts have been average.
So about this time last year, we had probably close to a meter more water than we do right now, which functionally makes a huge difference. If you look around the village, you'll see a lot of rock, a lot of points that are exposed, and you'll see that most of the docks and things are going to be empty.
TransAlta would not give us an interview, but in a statement says it began refilling to return to targeted elevation levels, but had to pause to accommodate the recent precipitation. Red Deer Polytechnic is trying to address food insecurity through a unique summer camp. The Building Skills for Tomorrow camp connects youth with the tools, mentorship, and experience necessary to construct potato planter boxes. The boxes were donated to the Red Deer Food Bank. The kids learned about design, scaling size, and how to use a variety of tools. The camp exists to inspire young people to pursue a career in the skilled trades. Lacomb's Brady McKinley has added a win to his list of golfing achievements. The 24-year-old swung to victory at the Mickelson National Invitational in Calgary. McKinley placed second in last year's event. This year, he's claiming a $50,000 prize. He says the money will help him further his golf career.
This stage, you kind of just have to reinvest everything back into it, because every week that you play is a new opportunity, and if you maybe only play half of them because of money, then you're just taking away opportunities.
McKinley started golfing competitively when he was 15 years old. Still ahead, rare finds up for grabs.
The beauty of it, it's sculpture. It's like looking at a painting and appreciating it.
Money, old and new, trading hands at Canada's largest ever coin show.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
From decades-old paper money to millennia-old coins, it's all on display and for sale at the Royal Canadian Numismatic Society show in Calgary this weekend. CTV's Kevin Green got a look.
Organizers say it's Canada's largest ever coin show.
It's basically just one big flea market, if you want to call it, but for higher end, coins and of all sorts.
The show attracts collectors from across Canada.
Anyone that's anybody in the Canadian coin business is here today.
Paul Anderson's collection dates back thousands of years. This one featuring Mark Antony's head on one side and Cleopatra's on the other.
These coins with her image on it circulated amongst the people of the day. This is now 2,050 years ago, 2,060 years ago.
4, 5.
There's a lot of money, old and new, trading hands here as collectors crack open their wallets for a rare find.
Sometimes I will pay too much for a coin that I think looks good.
For others, the lure isn't the monetary value or the history, it's something more sublime.
It's kind of the art of it, the beauty of it. It's sculpture. It's like looking at a painting and appreciating it.
There's also an entire catalog of collectible Canadian tire money, some of it going for thousands of dollars.
The most expensive one is worth about $2,500. It's a yellow $2 note. It's a yellow $2 note from, I think, in the mid-'60s.
And if you're going to the show, beware. Coin collectors contend the hobby is contagious.
I think if you ask anybody in this room, they would tell you they had a disease called collecting.
Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
And that is our show. Thank you very much, as always, for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, you can visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca or the CTV channel on YouTube. See ya.